There we go. Good evening. I call this meeting to order of the York County School Board regular meeting for Monday, May 20th, 2019. And this is our last regular meeting prior to the end of school, as we have a packed agenda tonight. So we're going to try to move through that as quickly as we can. So I'm going to ask our pledge leader to step forward while I read a little bit about her. And our pledge leader is Catherine Michael, a fifth grade student at Mount Vernon Elementary School. She's the daughter of Ann and Jim Michael, who will join us here this evening. And Catherine was born with problems to her oral facial cavity, which affected her ability to speak clearly. She underwent many surgeries and therapy sessions over several years to improve her speech production, including a surgery last month. Catherine has made tremendous strides in her oral speaking ability since her enrollment in Mount Vernon Elementary School. This progress was due to Catherine's tenacity. She is steadfast in her work ethic and never gives up. She is now an articulate and confident student who participates eagerly in all classroom instruction and school activities. Academically, Catherine is a strong student and an avid reader. She enjoys her time spent in the Mount Vernon Elementary makerspace and is a huge fan of Minecraft. Catherine has grown into a leader within our Mount Vernon school community, and she's also a leader in the larger community. Catherine participates in children's activities, choir, and girls' action in Hampton Baptist Church. She is a Girl Scout, takes tennis lessons, and plays field hockey. We are proud of Catherine's accomplishments and glad she is at Mount Vernon Mustang. So if you please stand while she leads us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Catherine. That was wonderful. So now we're going to move into our recognitions and awards. So we're going to start with our seniors of the month. And we're going to start with Bruton High School. Mrs. Haywood, you have the first one.
Thank you very much. I have the honor of introducing to you Catherine Mihalova from Bruton High School. Please stand with Mom and Dad and anybody else here with you, and tell me how bad I mispronounced the name. Okay. Mom, Dad, everybody stand up so you can see yourselves on TV tomorrow. Bruton High School salutes the scholarship and passion for learning demonstrated by our valedictorian, Catherine Mihalova, as we recognize her as our May Senior of the Month. Catherine has attended the Governor's School for Science and Technology since 2017. She notes that attending the Governor's School for Science and Technology has been one of the highlights of her high school experience. This opportunity allowed her to experiment and explore sciences and math with an optimal focus. In addition to numerous academic awards, Catherine also earned first place in the American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics Special Awards, as well as the GSST Outstanding Junior Research Award and highest honors in calculus. Catherine is a member of the National Honor Society, serving as secretary. She's a member of the Model UN GSST Student Advisory Board, Panther Achievement Leader, which is a student-led mentorship program, and the William and Mary Satellite Club. Catherine dutifully provides service to our community by volunteering at the Heritage Humane Society, William and Mary's Physics Fest, and serves as a summer junior volunteer at Centera. Catherine plans to attend college next fall and major in physics. Please join me in congratulating Catherine. As our May Senior of the Month from Bruton High School.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. So next we have another Bruton High School senior. This is one that couldn't make it to last month's meeting. So this is our April Senior of the Month from Bruton High School, and it's Keely Pattisel. If you could stand up with everyone you brought with you. There you go. Thank you. So Bruton High School proudly acknowledges the optimism and determination of one of our finest students and salutatorian. Keely Pattisel. Keely is a motivated, conscientious, engaged Panther who always strives to represent herself and our school with excellence, passion, and pride. Keely is a member of several honor societies: Chemistry Honor Society, she's the vice president, Mu Alpha Theta president, and National Honor Society, where she's treasurer. She is also a spirit coordinator of the SCA and is a member of the Model UN and Students Against Destructive Decisions, and is a Panther Achievement Leader, which is a student-led mentorship program. Additionally, she has participated in the School of the Arts, Dance Arts. Keely is a gifted dancer who recently performed her original choreography at School of the Arts, Dance Arts Jubilee. Keely has also been honored by earning the highest academic honors all 4 years of high school. Keely extends her service to the community by volunteering at Dreamcatchers, a therapeutic riding facility, and notes that having a significant impact on others is one of her most rewarding experiences. She is a soft stick lacrosse coach and Centera Junior volunteer, and also actively participates in Williamsburg rowing and lacrosse. Keely plans to attend college next fall and major in biology. We congratulate Keely as our Senior of the Month for April, Bruton High School. Congratulations. So now Grafton High School, Mr. Higginbotham.
Yes, Derek Yang, can you please stand? And I believe you brought your mom and dad with you. It is Grafton's pleasure to recognize and honor Derek Yang as Grafton's May Senior of the Month. Derek is an extremely intelligent and humble young man who has an outstanding work ethic, compassion for others, and respect for his elders. He has always been highly involved in his activities of Governor's School, studying biology, his extensive volunteering pursuits, and his passion of studying business and photography. Derek is becoming well-versed in the economy with a plan to get involved in politics in the future. Some awards Derek has attained are making highest academic honors in each of his first 3 years in high school, induction into the Science Honor Society, being selected as a graduation marshal in his junior year, and being selected as a National Merit semifinalist in the fall of 2018, and this year being recognized as a National Merit finalist. In the areas of extracurricular activities and community service, Derek shows that he is a highly involved student and responsible member of his community. He has accrued numerous volunteer hours over the course of 4 years in high school, working many roles at Peninsula Baptist Church as a Vacation Bible School technology assistant and class helper, as a trail guide for the Virginia Living Museum, and a volunteer with the Coastal Community Church Food Bank. Derek does not do these activities to build a resume, but because he genuinely wants to help others and is a caring individual. Derek is also a part of the mentorship program at Hampton University, where he studies under a former Harvard professor where they research the vascular tissue of zebrafish. Derek is interested in business because he wants to understand how the economy works, as that knowledge can influence his future political career. Derek very much admires his parents, who came from China with nothing and built their own success, literally achieving the American dream. Derek is a true role model for all students at Grafton High School, and he will continue to be a role model when he begins his collegiate studies at UVA. Please join me in congratulating the Senior of the Month from Grafton, Derek Yang.
All right, next we have Tab High School Senior of the Month and Dr. George.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Richardson. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce the Senior of the Month from Tab High School, Emily Lyon. And Emily, your mom and dad here, I believe. There you go. Emily Lyon is a gifted and involved senior at Tab High School. A National Merit Commended student, Emily has completed a rigorous course load, including a total of 10 AP classes. She has maintained straight A's while completing the highest level math and science classes available. Emily has combined that success in the classroom with a year-long career mentorship at Jefferson Lab in physics. She's the first area high school student to secure such an experience from a regular high school setting. Emily is also a gifted vocalist who has managed to carve out space in her schedule for both small vocal ensemble and jazz choir. This year, she was named to the Virginia All-State Choir for the second consecutive year. Emily is an active member of several service groups and honor societies, including National Honor Society and Beta Club. She has also volunteered at elementary schools for the past 4 years as a member of Tiger Friends. Outside of the school, Emily has been a competitive figure skater. When injury curtailed her competition status, Emily switched gears to include instruction. She currently teaches young figure skaters. U.S. Figure Skating recently awarded her the gold distinction for her success in figure skating combined with outstanding academic performance. Finally, Emily is simply a caring and aware person. She is generous with her time, a willing tutor, and a compassionate peer. Emily is a role model for citizenship in our school. She will carry those traits forward, continuing her education as a presidential scholar at Christopher Newport University next year while majoring in physics. We are proud to present Emily Lyon as the Tabb High School Senior of the Month. Emily, we're very proud. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. George. And next is York High School's Senior of the Month, and I'll be reading that one. Gabrielle Rosario. If you could stand up with your family that's here. Perfect. So York High School is proud to recognize Gabrielle Rosario as the May Senior of the Month. Gabrielle is a wonderful young lady and is a true standout among her peers. She is a student in the International Baccalaureate program and has excelled academically every year. She loves to learn and challenge herself, and her hard work and perseverance has earned her the honor of being in the top 5% of her class. She has been inducted into the National Honor Society, French National Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, and the Science National Honor Society. Gabrielle is a natural leader and very involved at York and the surrounding community. She is active in the youth leadership team at her church, where she has served as vice president, secretary, and currently serves as president. She also travels during the summer with Catholic Heart Work Camp to complete week-long service projects. At York High School, Gabrielle serves as the president of the National Honor Society, under Secretary General of the United Nations, and president of the French National Honor Society and Student Council Association service chair. Gabrielle has been a member of the varsity tennis team throughout her high school career. Congratulations, Gabrielle. We're proud to have you as part of the Falcon family. Good job. So next, at York River Academy, Ms. Haywood.
Thank you very much. If Mark Trawiski, did I pronounce that correctly, was staying, and parents with you, and anybody else with you? From York River Academy. Each year, the staff at York River Academy comes together to choose an outstanding senior for the year. This year was a quick and unanimous decision to select Mark Trawiski as our Senior of the Year. In the words of one of his teachers, Mark is a leader in the school. He works hard in his classes to learn and excel. He has a positive attitude and is always willing to lend a helping hand to other students and teachers. He is a role model for other students with his approachable, friendly disposition and his respectful attitude both in and out of the classroom. Another teacher added these words: as a member of the YRA greenhouse team last year, Mark took his role seriously. He created a fun, engaging lesson for YES students who enjoyed most of the outdoor activities. He was also a great team member and helped out when needed or as needed. In class, Mark served as a peer leader for his classmates. He set the expectation for participation, and in discussions, he delved into deeper content and helped his classmates on task with an exciting and educational conversation. Other teachers went on to explain how Mark was the consummate recruiter for the school, being open and candid and balanced when talking to prospective students. He was also an active and dynamic member of our Key Club and took part in many of the community service projects undertaken by that club. Mark's career at YRA has shown an upward trajectory in every area of measure. He has maintained honor roll performance throughout high school and has demonstrated a commitment to excellence combined with a solid work ethic. Mark is incredibly polite and attentive to needs, ideas, and opinions of others, while having a very solid understanding of himself. Mark has obtained 11 industry certifications, only 10 more than needed for graduation, in a wide range of areas, including certification coming out of the EMT program at New Horizons. Mark hopes to extend his current work into becoming a firefighter. just another way that he will serve his community. Mark has left a lasting impression on all of us at YRA, and we are proud of him and commend him to you as Senior of the Month. Congratulations, Mark.
Great job. So now we're going to move into our Student Service Awards, and I'm going to give Dr. Shandor a moment to get down front. But I just want to remind parents that after we do our accent on academics and some of these presentations and do our accent on academics, the board will take a short break so we can come down and meet the award recipients, and there'll be plenty of opportunity for the parents to take some good pictures up here at the front at that point. So our Student Service Awards, we'll start with Dr. George. You have the first.
I do. It's my pleasure this evening to present the Student Service Award to Paul Maloof from Mount Vernon Elementary. If Paul and Kristen Ballum, if you could come up. Paul Maloof is a fifth-grade student at Mount Vernon Elementary School. Paul has made numerous contributions to our school and our community, and he always exemplifies the characteristics of a Mustang. Paul is an active participant and contributor to his Boy Scouts troop. Through our partnership with BSA, Paul leads our student flag corps each day. When our secretary was on medical leave in the fall, Paul noticed the need for a schedule of volunteers. He took the initiative to create the schedule himself and distribute it to other students who served as volunteers. He is conscientious and careful in completing the requirements of his position. In addition to his work with BSA and Flag Corps, Paul has found time to participate in the Mount Vernon Odyssey of the Mind team. His Odyssey of the Mind sponsor, Jamie Beckner, noted that Paul is a leader and team player. His leadership efforts were most evident in the task of set building. His contributions were an asset to the team. Within the larger community, Paul is learning discipline and leadership through the Taekwondo program at World Martial Arts. Through this program, Paul has further developed the positive character traits that are an integral part of his identity. As Mustangs, the students of Mount Vernon embrace kindness, responsibility, safety, and a readiness to learn. Cambria Sanders, one of Paul's teachers, noted that he shows the attributes of a Mount Vernon Mustang daily. We are grateful for Paul's quiet leadership and positive character traits. Paul truly shows us what it means to be a Mustang each and every day. Congratulations, Paul. You make us really proud.
Thank you, Dr. George. And next, I have the next Student Service Award, and it's Samuel Callender. If he could come forward with Mr. Rice, the principal at Tabb High School. Well, Sam has been extremely dedicated in his service to Tabb High School during his senior year. He is an active supporter of all sports, but takes that support to the level of supplying numerous hours of service to the athletic department. Sam did all of the announcing and kept statistics for the volleyball games in the fall. He kept the clock for field hockey games and currently does the same for soccer games. In the winter, he announced all home boys basketball games and took care of setting up all the sound system needs. Sam originated the first live stream of a basketball game for the Tabb York game this past winter. In addition, Sam posts game results and clips from game action to various social media sites. Mrs. Wilson, the athletic director, has praised Sam's dedication and reliability in all of those endeavors. This year, Tabb High School saw an addition of a wonderful new electronic signboard in front of the building. Programming the messages and updating the information is a huge task on a daily and weekly basis. But Sam has been the one individual who has been completely responsible for entering all the information, programming the system, and troubleshooting errors. Furthermore, only through Sam's persistence and diligent efforts was the county code changed to allow the school signs to rotate messages like church and business signs. So thank you for that persistence. So Sam is a willing volunteer who goes above and beyond the call of duty. He has contributed a great deal to the school and his community through his dedicated actions and his desire to promote Tabb High School. In many ways, Sam has embodied the true nature of service because so many people benefit from his efforts without knowing that he was responsible behind the scenes. Tabb High School appreciates all that Sam has contributed this past year. Congratulations, Sam. So next, we have our Community Volunteers of the Month, and Mr. Higginbotham, you have the first.
Yes, I have the pleasure to introduce the Volunteer of the Month, again from Mount Vernon Elementary School, Jessica Hudson. Please come up with Kristen Ballin. I think this is a surprise to Jessica. Jessica Hudson is an asset to the Mount Vernon school community across a variety of settings that include the classroom, library, the makerspace, and extracurricular environments. In the classroom, Mrs. Hudson has exceeded her duties as room parent. During the 2017-18 school year, she organized a volunteer schedule that enabled parents to support a fourth grade classroom, and she organized classroom celebrations. She even created a whole Quidditch game for the end-of-year celebration, which all of the fourth grade rotated through. Natalie Dallaire, the classroom teacher, shared that Mrs. Hudson is an incredible person with a huge heart, and I'm honored to not only know her as a fabulous volunteer, but also as a wonderful friend. Mrs. Hudson's efforts continued during the 2018-2019 school year when she supported 2 fifth-grade classrooms in a similar way. Each year during Teacher Appreciation Week, Mrs. Hudson arranged for students to send in cards, gently used books, and little tokens of affection during the week, as well as arranging a special lunch for the teachers. When not in the classroom, Mrs. Hudson is frequently seen in the library or makerspace. In the library, she's recruited volunteers at the beginning of the year, designed bulletin boards and wall displays, ran the circulation desk, assisted during every shift at the book fair, every shift, it's all in caps, and helped with numerous other daily library tasks. Mrs. Hudson has also been an avid supporter of the MVE Makerspace. When we were going to share the new makerspace with our first donors, she took it upon herself to duplicate our makerspace sign with the mobile version. It has traveled with us to the Virginia Society for Technology and Education and multiple YCSD events. The makerspace is a good place for Mrs. Hudson to exercise her creative talents. She's used her talents to create costumes for school productions and for our administrative team during the Storybook Character Parade, and designed T-shirts for our first LEGO League team. Jessica Hudson is much more than a volunteer. She embodies all of the characteristics of a Mustang, and we are so grateful for her contributions to our school community. Join me in congratulating Jessica Hudson.
And we have one more Community Volunteer of the Month, and Ms. Haywood.
I do. Thank you. Would Jamie Cole Snow come forward, please, with the principal from Tab High, Paul Rice? Tab High School is honored to recognize Jamie Cole Snow as our Volunteer of the Month. Mrs. Cole Snow is a dedicated Tiger parent. She not only sends great students to Tab, but wears many different hats at Tab. Depending on the day and what is going on at Tab will determine what Mrs. Cole Snow is going to do to support students, staff, and families. Her day may start as a sub at Tab. She has a great presence with our students. They are excited to see her in the building as a sub. If it is Wednesday, she's in the concession stand selling Tab spirit gear. Kids flock to the concession stand to say hi or catch up on something with her. If it is a game day, she is moving back and forth between the baseball and softball fields, supporting each team and her children. All of that can happen in one day for Mrs. Cole Snow at Tab. Mrs. Cole Snow's spirit and enthusiasm for Tab is always on display. She works very hard behind the scenes with athletic boosters to support our student athletes. She works games, coordinates banquets, and keeps everyone up to date on team information. Her work makes each experience for our student athletes and families memorable and meaningful. Tab High School students, staff, and families are lucky to have Jamie Cole Snow as a parent volunteer. The example she sets for students and parents typifies the tradition of excellence at Tab High School. Please join me in congratulating Jamie Cole Snow as the Volunteer of the Month.
So, Ms. Haywood, you have the York
I
Foundation for
do
Public
indeed.
Education presentation.
And as I call your name, if you will come forward, congratulations to Catherine for doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Also recognizing tonight's Student Service Award recipients, Paul from Mount Vernon and Samuel from Tab High. Also want to congratulate our seniors of the month, Catherine from Bruton High, Derek from Grafton, Emily from Tab High, Gabrielle from York High, and Mark from York River Academy. Keely is Bruton's April Senior of the Month, and she's also attending, so please come forward. Special gifts from Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet are being presented on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education, in partnership with their donor, Joni Fioca of Cookie Tex and Edible Tweet. A Walmart gift card is also being presented to each award recipient on behalf of a foundation supporter. And helping to present tonight's gifts, Mrs. Christina Hare, a board member for the York Foundation of Public Education. Please join everyone again for their awards. Thank you. More pictures.
All right.
So we have one additional presentation. Dr. Shandor, I think there's one more presentation, Dr. Shandor. There's one more presentation there in front. Nope. So this is the Presidential Scholar Award. If I could have Caitlin Berlin come forward, please. So Caitlin Berlin is currently pursuing the engineering strand at New Horizons. Her research is being overseen by Dr. Castillo Carranza at the Hampton University. And Caitlin has recently presented her research at the National Junior Science and Humanities Symposium. She will be presenting again at the Intel International Science and Engineering Fair in Phoenix and at the Alzheimer's Association International Conference in Los Angeles in July. Caitlin is very interested in cardiovascular research and will be pursuing a biomedical engineering degree next year at Georgia Tech. Now, this Presidential Service Award she attained is one of 161 outstanding American high school seniors who have demonstrated outstanding academic achievement, artistic excellence, technical expertise, leadership, citizenship, service, and contribution to the school and community. The U.S. Presidential Scholars will be honored for their accomplishments in Washington, D.C. from June 23rd through 25th. So we wanted to take this opportunity to recognize Caitlin on this outstanding achievement. Congratulations. Now you can come back. Thanks. Thank you, Dr. Shandor. And next, we have the accent on academics. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Shandor, and ask you to share a little bit of information about that.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Good evening, board members. For this evening's accent on academics, Waller Mill Elementary School will present Backyard Birding Program. Students in Mr. Searle's fifth grade class, those are some big first graders, have a unique opportunity to get outside and up close with nature. They have formed a partnership with both the Williamsburg Bird Club and the Virginia Bluebird Society to observe and monitor the bird population on their school campus. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Ms. Jennifer Goodwin, Waller Mill Elementary School Principal. Ms. Goodwin. Or Mr. Searles.
Mr. Searles is going to start us off.
Perfect.
Good evening, Chairman Richardson, members of the board, Dr. Shandor, and guests. We are honored to be here this evening to share about one of our school's passions and most engaging activities. What started as a small outdoor classroom area and monarch butterfly garden has grown to a campus-wide nationally recognized wildlife habitat for our students to grow, learn to be more appreciative of the world around us. We have a 1-mile nature trail with birdhouses, benches, learning activities, student-made native plant and animal markers, and recently added footbridges. This space has become not only an extension of our classrooms, but a real-life learning lab for our students. Over the course of the past 9 years, Walter Mill students have spent time on the trail, families visit on weekends, we've hosted field trips from other schools, and each spring, biology classes from Thomas Nelson Community College uses our facilities for learning. We have established a school-wide recycling program and use the proceeds to earn Trex benches, planters, and birdhouses for our school grounds. Tonight, we would like to highlight one of our newest endeavors, our backyard birding habitat program. As a classroom teacher, I continually look for ways for my students to learn the content and practice 21st century skills. Our environmental awareness programs are giving our students authentic experiences to collaborate with each other, learn from the experts in the field, communicate their observations, and use their creativity to spread the message. 3 of my students, also known as Walter Mill Birders, are here to share their experience with you.
Good evening. I am Priya Hickey, and I enjoy our weekly birding time. Each Tuesday, Virginia Master Naturalist, Williamsburg Bird Club, and Virginia Bluebird Society volunteers visit our school to work with our class. Also, the 4-H Schoolyard Habitats Outreach Program provides many of our resources and supplies for these outdoor learning experiences. Binoculars, bird identification cards, and our own keen eyes and ears are all we need for our time outdoors. We use special data sheets to record our sightings and make notes about the birds we see. It can be different each week, and especially as the seasons change. Because birds are easily frightened and move quickly, we have to pay close attention and use pretty precise descriptions when we spot a bird we want our group to see. For example, if we see a bird in a tree across the field, we may say something like, "There's a red-tailed warbler in the oak tree on the end of the branch." Sometimes we debate what type of bird we see and try to problem solve to keep our counts accurate. Our volunteers help us identify bird species not only by their sight but also by their calls. They have taught us how to care for our habitats to attract the most birds and to be respectful of their homes. Our birding time is very different from our time at recess. We walk quietly and try not to disturb the natural surroundings. Miss Schuster, one of our volunteers, helped us check a house for eggs.
Who's in it? You're almost taller than I am. Okay.
Definitely.
It's made of straw, so it's definitely.
Any eggs in there? No, I don't see anything.
No eggs. Not yet. But I'll lay odds tomorrow. There'll probably be some. You want to see the whole?
Is that bird barking at us?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I bet you.
When the eggs get in there, they'll dive bomb you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll sit in these 2 trees, and they'll come after you. But when I opened it, the best thing to have done when I walked up and I didn't is to kind of tap on it a little bit.
And then if something comes out, like.
And you just open it real slowly. Don't open it real fast.
And aren't you supposed to like you open? Are you supposed to be like the back of it so like they can't?
Yeah.
In the past 2 weeks, we've had 15 bluebird eggs in our birdhouses and are now proud to report that we have a nest full of baby bluebirds. We can't wait to see them learning to fly in the coming weeks. This is one of our favorite times. We would like to introduce our volunteers who are here this evening. Would you please stand? Jan Lockwood, Lee Schuster, Pat Murphy, and Patty Maloney.
Thank you for the time that you spend with us. Hello, my name is Drew Lee, and I would like to share with you how our work at Walter Mill makes a difference. We have partnerships with several environmental organizations that support bird research and protection. The annual Great Backyard Bird Count happens each February, and we count birds on our campus and upload our data to their website. This count is open to all and is easy to do for even a beginner birder. Scientists there use data to track the health of bird populations. You should check it out for next year. Each week, Waller Mill birders' data is reported to the eBird portal on Virginia Breeding Bird Atlas website. This is shared with Cornell University, who collects bird data from around the world on health, population growth, and migratory patterns of birds. It is awesome to know that the birds we count around our school help real-world scientists do their jobs.
Good evening, and I am John Zickel. Our work is important to the research and study of birds in our area and across the country. They are many major contributors to a healthy ecosystem. Birds pollinate plants, disperse seeds, and recycle nutrients back into the earth. Birds also make our world a more beautiful and peaceful place. The Audubon Society shares reasons why people bird, and you may find some of these reasons true. 1. It sharpens your eyesight. It encourages you to explore the world. Our generation is spending more time indoors and looking down at screens. This project gives us a reason to get outside, look up, and experience nature. It gives us something to write about. We are experts in our families and neighborhoods on bird identification. You won't hear us say, "Look at that bird." You'll hear us say, "Look at that chipping sparrow," or eastern bluebird.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity to share our work with our local feathered friends. We hope you've enjoyed our presentation and that you'll be inspired to start your own backyard bird habitat. We would like to present you Dr. Shandor with a birdhouse for the school board office grounds. It is made from recycled materials. Take that. We would be happy to answer any questions you have at this time as well.
Great presentation. I want to know if any of the babies that hatched, did you give them names?
Did you name
Did you name your birds?
We did not yet.
Not yet, okay.
How many different kinds of birds have you counted around Waller Mill?
We have answered, we have found a lot of birds. We find a couple of rare ones that we don't really think should be here, but
Yeah.
they are.
They pass through, right?
Yeah.
Probably on average, weekly, we do our bird walks every Tuesday, and roughly 20, 25, sometimes 30 different species.
Wow. Every week?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, it's the same ones.
Well,
just-
yeah. Okay.
All right, fantastic.
It's a great program, a great way to learn and have fun again. So wonderful presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we have one last recognition. If I could have Caitlin Breland, if you could come up to the podium there for just a second, because I want to also acknowledge that with this Presidential Scholar Award, since 1983, each U.S. presidential scholar has been offered the opportunity to name his or her most influential teacher. And each distinguished teacher is honored with a personal letter from the Secretary of Education. So the teacher that was chosen by Caitlin was Wallace Green at Grafton High School. So maybe if you would share why you chose Mr. Green.
Yeah, of course.
course. It was pretty easy writing this essay about Mr. Green and his class. From the very beginning, when I was just deciding on whether or not to take AP English 12, I had some concerns. I was having some health issues, and so I was worried about the course load and was I really a good fit for this class. And right before the school year ended, I came, and over the summer as well, I came and talked to Mr. Green, expressing these concerns and asking, what should I do to prepare for this class, and how should I approach this? And he was very encouraging and was offering as much help as I needed. And so hearing that, I was thrilled to be in his class. I mean, from the very first day when we had talked about our summer reading, he creates such an encouraging environment in the classroom. Asks for students' opinions, and the conversation, we have a great time in his class about literary theory, all of the topics, all the books that we read. So I've just really enjoyed his class. I've learned so much, and I've really found how to discover personal relevance in literature, which I never thought I would, actually. I'd always had a struggle reading and enjoying English class, and so Mr. Green has really created an awesome classroom environment where I've learned to really enjoy what I'm reading, and just enjoyed Shakespeare, for one. It's something that I never thought I would have enjoyed reading his plays, understanding his plays, finding the jokes funny, and my writing skills as well. He's really given individualized help on all my essays, and I really think I've been prepared for my college writing.
Wow, great. Great. Well, thank you. And Mr. Green, I think that's what teaching's all about right there. You just heard it in a nutshell, but great job. Thank you. Thank you. So the board is going to take a short recess for the board to meet tonight's award recipient. So we're in recess for a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, we're going to reconvene this meeting, and we have a full agenda tonight, so we're going to move right through. So unfinished business, we have none. Next is Sister Cities Yorktown French Student Exchange 2019. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson, board members. This presentation features 3 York County High School students who participated in the Sister Cities Yorktown Student Exchange trip to France in April. The students would like to express the value of cross-cultural experiences by sharing some of their favorite memories of the trip. Teachers Catherine Carter and Roberta Bachroth. Is that right? Oh, geez, I wasn't even close. We'll step forward and introduce the students. Thank you for being here this evening.
Our pleasure. Good evening, Dr. Shandor, Chairman Richardson, Dr. George, and members of the board. My name is Catherine Carter. I am the French teacher at Grafton High School. I am joined this evening by my co-organizer of the Sister City Student Exchange, Roberta Bachrath, as well as our fellow chaperone, Kristen Spires. And we have a number of our students who participated in the student exchange. If I could get them to stand up, please. All right. And every other year, French students throughout the county are invited to apply to participate in the student exchange to Yorktown's sister city of Port-Vendres in the south of France. The selected students must be in level 3 French and have an excellent academic record. This program offers these students the opportunity to put the French language they have been learning in the classroom to real-world use. Immersion in language is not for the faint of heart. And this spring, 13 intrepid students representing Grafton, York, and Tabb High Schools traveled with us to Port Vendre for a homestay with their French correspondents. All of the students represented York County with integrity and a spirit of adventure. I would like to introduce 4 of these students who are eager to share some of their favorite memories of the trip.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Shireen Kim et je suis élève au lycée de Grafton. My name is Shireen Kim and I'm a student at Grafton High School. We would like to thank YCSD and Sister Cities Yorktown for giving us the opportunity to travel to France this past spring break. We would also like to thank our trip coordinators, Madam Bockrath and Madam Carter and Madam Spires. In France, we were able to experience the culture and language that we had been learning about for a long time in school, and also establish new friendships with our French correspondents and host families. My favorite memory was going to a bakery in La Roque, where my host family bought me 5 different pastries to try. It was a big part of their culture and everyday routine because that's where they got their daily baguettes. And I think this was a significant experience to me because of my host family's generosity as well as a more personal glimpse of life in France. Thank you.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Olivia Moore et je suis élève à lycée de Grafton. My name is Olivia Moore and I'm a student at Grafton High School. I would like to share a memory also that I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed meeting new friends in Bagnols-sur-Mer, which is the town that I stayed in. When I sat with my correspondent and some new friends that I met on the beach and we talked about our lives. Most of the conversation that evening was in French, as were a lot of my other conversations. So at first it was really difficult to keep up with them. But with lots of practice, I became way more confident, and I would really encourage anyone participating in the exchange to use French as much as possible because it has really helped with my speaking ability and in the classroom.
Bonsoir, je m'appelle Tristan. Good evening, my name is Tristan. My favorite part of France was seeing how different the school was. It was very unique. You know, their school that focused more on tourism and hotel management and cooking and stuff as such. You see in this picture, we're cooking food. It was very fun. You know, we cooked things like crepes and croque monsieur. I also enjoyed that their lunch was 2 hours long. That was very nice. You know, we had time to go to the cafe and walk around town during that time, and it was very interesting, and I really appreciated the experience to go to France and see a different culture.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Rowan. Hello, my name is Rowan. My favorite experience from the trip was going mountain biking with my correspondent. Him and his family own a bike shop in the town and are pretty avid mountain bikers. They took me up to the mountains in Argelès, and I was able to go mountain biking with him and his mom. I enjoyed mountain biking at home, but it was very different because of the geography and the terrain. There was an old church and a farmhouse at the top that we were able to explore and just see. And I love being immersed in the history of another country.
We were proud to have been representatives of the York County School Division and Sister Cities Yorktown. Thank you for your support of the program and for the opportunity to share some of our experiences with you.
Thank you. So I just have one quick question. I have one day in France on a cruise in July. What's the best thing I should do on that one day?
Where will you be?
Marseille? Is that the right, am I saying it right? I don't even know.
How do you spell it, Jim?
Well, it
Yeah.
is a big port city, and so just enjoy the food.
Okay, I will. Thank you for that presentation. That was wonderful, and it's great to see that interaction again. And I know we're trying to do that with the sister city with Germany and Zweibrücken, and I know we've been doing it a while with the France students. So thank you. It's great. Any other questions from the board? All right, great. Thank you very much. So next we have our capital projects report, and Dr. Shandor, if you'd share comments.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to ask Mr. Mark Shearhart, Associate Director for Capital Plans, if he'll come and present this month's capital project report. Mr. Shearhart.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Dr. Shandor. Here's your capital projects report for the month of May. The first school I'd like to touch on is Tabb Elementary School. These are the ongoing renovations there at the school. The contractor has completed the installation of the roofs over the cafeteria and kitchens. I'm sorry I don't have any food to show you, but anyway, we're working on the kitchen there. They have nearly completed the metal siding on the gymnasium, and most of the framing on the roof, for the new roof, has been installed. The contractor has had to stop working. They were concerned about noise and the SOL testing, so they stopped working, and they'll return on June 3rd after the bulk of the SOL testing is done to continue working. So this is what the gymnasium looks like with the metal siding. It's wrapped around three sides. There's just one little small piece that needs to be done. They're going to do that during the summer, and these windows will all be replaced during that time, during the summer. And then this is a picture of the roof, the framing that they put over the top of the old roof. You can see the condition of the old roof. It's not good. So they put that metal framing on, and when they come back, they'll start installing the metal panels on top of this frame here. Next school I'd talk about is Tabb Middle School. The contractors have been doing great work there. They're making a lot of progress. They do expect to continue roof installation. There's not been the noise issues here that they had at Tabb Elementary School because of the thickness of the existing roof. And so they've been able to continue work there. Substantial completion on this project August 30th and final completion September 30th. Here's a picture of the school. I just wanted to show you what the new versus old looks like. In the foreground, you can see the existing shingled roof. There's some lighter green shingles there. You can see that's where the maintenance staff has tried to stop the leaks going into the building. So they've replaced some of the shingles, trying to stop the leaks. But then we got to the point where it just was not feasible, and we replacing the roof. You can see where they've taken off the shingles, and they've got the ice and water shield there in the background with it white with the lettering on it. And then the far distance there is the new green roofing, metal roofing here. Here's another picture of that in the courtyard. You can see they've got most of the courtyard area done now. There's a small piece left to do on the left-hand side there. The next project is Grafton Middle School, High School, and we have picked up the options for the bid options for LED lighting and some minor restroom work there. The pre-construction meeting was on April 24th, and the contract for this project has been signed, and notice of proceed has been issued to the contractor so he can start ordering materials. And also the contractor has already started working over the weekends. Again, this summer we'll focus on the high school portion of the building and the center of the building, and next summer will be the middle school and the high school band room. Both the high school and middle school administrative staffs will be relocated this summer to York High School. And here's an image we showed before where they're working on the building. Again, the bottom of the slide is the front of the building, and you can see the back there is the auxiliary gym, which is in pink, and then on the left-hand side is the high school band room. That'll be happening next summer. This is a picture of what happened this weekend. It's kind of empty there. There used to be 2 boilers sitting on these concrete pads. Those were disconnected, removed. So they've got that work done. They took out the pumps as well and all the piping. Here's a picture of the piping that they took out. So they're rolling at that school already. So we don't need boilers anymore this year, hopefully. The Coventry Elementary School. This is security vestibule there. We did have a pre-construction meeting there on May 14th. This was a pre-construction meeting. It went for 3 different schools, for Coventry, Mount Vernon, and Dare Elementary School. So you'll hear me repeatedly say May 14th pre-construction meeting. This has to occur with the contractor with the county before they release the permit for the contractor to start work. The contract has been signed and notice to proceed has been issued. We expect the construction to take place this summer. Planned demolition will start June 17th. At this school, we're not going to move the staff off site. We'll move them down the hallway to some classrooms at the end of the hallway during construction this summer, so they'll stay on site. And here's a picture or a rendering of what the Coventry Elementary School entrance should look like or will look like. Coventry Elementary School metal roof project. This is another project that's going on at Coventry, so they'll have 2 things going on this summer.
They're installing metal roof panels over the existing roof. It's very similar to what they did at Magruder Elementary School a few years ago, and also some fascia repairs. There's some damage in the fascia, and they're going to repair that and paint that. So we have a pre-construction meeting there this Friday to meet with the contractors. The contract has already been signed, notice to proceed issued, and they're already ordering parts for this project. Construction will start in the summer of 2019, but it will work into the school year, and the substantial completion is November 14th, and final completion December 30th. Dare Elementary School, we have a couple projects going on there. This is the breezeway and the gym floor. So in the gym, they're going to be replacing, the contractor will be replacing the existing interlocking plastic tiles with a wooden floor. This should improve the roller skating performance. They're also replacing existing pads on the walls. Pre-construction meeting, again, was on the 14th of May. Contract for this has also been signed, and notice to proceed has been issued. The next project at Dare is a breezeway enclosure, and they're going to demolish the entire existing breezeway and construct a connector building between the three buildings to tie all three of the buildings together with a building. And the pre-construction meeting again was May 14th. This construction will start on June 17th, but it will take place during the school year up to January 31st. We hope they'll get done before then, but they have until January 31st to complete the project. This is architect's rendering of what that new connector building should look like between the three buildings. Dare Elementary School, we have another project going on there, so it's 3 projects going on at Dare. This is a roof repair, so the contractor will be repairing some small, we don't have any leaks, we just have some wet insulation in the existing roof, so the contractor will be cutting that insulation out, repairing that, and then coating the entire roof of the original building and also the 2 classroom additions. One's the Extend Center. The contract for this has also been signed and notice to proceed issued. They also plan to start their work on June 17th with the final completion, substantial completion October 15th, final November 15th. Mount Vernon, we have 3 projects going on: security vestibule, gym floor, and breezeway enclosure. The security vestibule, again, we're going to be expanding the lobby and the offices there. The administrative staff will also remain on site for this school, just like at Coventry. We're going to move into some classrooms. And they also have received their contract is signed, and they've received their notice to proceed. This also pertains to the breezeway enclosure. The contractor will demolish part of the existing breezeway and construct a connector building between the 3 buildings, between the addition back there and the, 2 buildings actually, the addition back there, the library, and the main building. So this design does include an office, a conference room, small conference room, and some minor work in the media center. Since we're taking out the windows in the media center to build the connector building, we're going to put some skylights in the library, much like we did at Yorktown Elementary School. Also at Mount Vernon, we're replacing the gym floor. Again, this is the plastic interlocking tiles. We're going to take those out of there and replace it with a synthetic floor. A resilient floor that's good to walk on, protects their knees. And also the contract has been signed and notice to proceed has been issued. This is the architect's rendering of what the new main entrance should look like. And then the next project is Yorktown Elementary School. It's parking lot expansion. This will involve removing all 3 of the existing double-wide trailers, double-wide modular classrooms. It will leave the Head Start modular classroom in place where it's at now. We're not able to pick up the 15 additional parking spots because of the cost. They had a high price on this, so we couldn't pick up that additional parking spots. Again, the contract has been signed and a notice to proceed is issued. So you can see all these projects are just all set to start since we've been out at the notice to proceed in most of all these projects. The last project then is the York High Learning Commons, and this is the design is complete for this. We did have a pre-bid meeting on May 14th, and the bids are due this Friday. We do expect them to start demolition on June 17th. Substantial completion would be October 11th with the final completion October 25th. And here's an architect's rendering of what that library should look like when they get done with it. And that is my last slide for this evening and this year. Do you have any questions for me?
All right, no questions. Thank you, Mr. Shearhart, for
Okay.
that presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Shearhart.
All right, next we're going to move into comments by citizens. We have a public hearing on the proposed school board salaries for FY 19 through 20. And for the public hearing on school board salaries, no one has signed up to speak, so I'm going to close that hearing. We're going to move on to public hearing. Our participation in board meetings public hearing, and for our general comments. We have no one signed up. Is there anyone that would like to say something? You would just state your name and address for us, please? And I'll write you in.
Thank you so much. Carol Bauer, 410 Lakeside Drive. What do these things have in common? Bus stop issues, school lunches, attendance zones, and road checks at 3 a.m. in the morning. They all have in common Dr. James. I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to Dr. James for the service he's provided for York County students. I also want to say thank you because you also were a principal to some of my children. You helped me with some issues with when I had a foreign exchange student. And just over the years, you've been a voice of reason, and just very much appreciate all that you've done. This is the last televised meeting that you will be at, and just very, very much appreciate it, and just wanted to say thank you to Dr. James. Thank you.
Thank you. So there's no one else signed up to speak. I'm going to close this public hearing. And next we have matters by board members. So I'm going to ask each board member for comments. I'm going to start with you, Doctor.
Sure. I'd like to echo, first of all, comments about Dr. James. We're still going to see you for a while before you leave, but you can still change your mind.
It's not too late.
You can still change your mind. I remember years ago, I was looking to get my kids into the York County School, and we were building a house in the county, but weren't residents, and so I called to inquire, and you're the person I talked to. And so you helped us then, and you've continued to help with just about everything through all these years. So thank you so much. And I guess one more time here, I'll let you tell me how many days we have. Let's say 17. That's what I came up with. 17 more days, folks. We're almost there, and we're looking forward to wrapping up another very successful year. You okay, Ms. Call? Okay. I don't have a lot to say. I knew this day would come, this night would come when I make this announcement, and I'd like to go ahead and just officially say tonight that I will not seek re-election for school board. Not a decision made lightly, but one that I feel very good about. Sometimes leadership is about knowing when to step down and, when other things in life come to the surface, and we just need to spread a little bit and do some other things. So, but I can say I've been truly humbled and honored by the confidence that District 5 residents have placed in me. Do I need to abide by that? have placed in me. I can truly say one of the best decisions I've ever made, and one of the best experiences that I've had. So thank you once again. And this won't be the last time you hear from me. We'll be talking about this in the next 6 months, I'm sure. To follow up with that, I would like to officially announce my endorsement of Sean Myatt. Sean Myatt has a child in the division. Sean Myatt, if you've had children in athletics, he's probably coached your child in York County somewhere. Has been very active in the county. I think he has the leadership qualities and the skill set to become a very, very effective school board member. So I feel good about that. And those of you you may remember, he's the one who ran against me last time. And I felt bad, but I had to beat him by 1 vote. So I like to say I squished him like a bug, But Sean is a great guy, and I have total confidence in him. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. George. And next, Ms. Hayward.
Thank you. The school year is finally coming to a close. On Saturday, I attended with some of our administrators the 200-plus men's breakfast at the Hampton Roads Convention Center. And it was such a positive breakfast. When you have 200-plus young African-American men making a 3.3 and higher and doing what's right, it was a powerful, powerful breakfast. Mike London, the new football coach at William and Mary, was a speaker. And it was, I congratulate all of our all the students from all private and public schools in the region, but our York County students that were a part of that. Had the opportunity to, I want to say congratulations to Dr. James also, but we spent last Thursday recognizing all of our staff, employees for recognition awards and retirements. And that was a wonderful evening, and I congratulate all of them for what they have done and given and sacrificed for the county and for our students. And on that note, I'm going to take my bon voyage adieu. It's time that I finally decide, after 30 years, I am not seeking re-election to the school board. I have been so very, very blessed and honored to be a part of so many changes over the last 30 years. 3 superintendent searches, 2 interim superintendents, Dr. James was one, and many fellow board members. I've had the opportunity to represent York County at both the state and national levels. While we have witnessed many positives over the years, we have had our challenges. And this boy has always heard me say, give me the good, the bad, the ugly, so we can fix the bad and the ugly together. We have always come together as a board to conduct the business that we were and still are charged with. And when you take an oath to do what you're supposed to do for students, you take that seriously and you do what you need to do. I laughed back when I was first appointed, and I was quiet for a while. And after the first year, our board chair said, oh, she's got a voice, she's talking now. Well, 30 years later, I'm still talking. And you'll probably say, will she be quiet? But understand that a board member, to be an effective board member, you must first understand your responsibilities. That is governance, policy, leadership, and financial accountability. I have learned to say the prayer when I get up in the morning, please let me have the ability to do what's right for students, to make the right decisions. And at night, when it's time to go to bed, you reflect and say, did I make the right decisions? Please understand that I'll continue to serve the students of York County in any way that I can, maybe on the other side of the podium, for all we know. I want to close by thanking the citizens of District 1 for having faith in what I have tried to do and I will continue to do. I thank them for their support and encouragement. And when I started, I was District 2, and now I'm District 1. The one thing that I leave with you is that I hope that there is a person of color that will come to this seat or any seat up here. It's important to have a person of color to sit at the table. Understand that we are 5 different people with 5 different life experiences, and each of us bring comments to the table that you have to understand and know where we come from. And then how do we as a group make the right decision for all of our students? I look forward to the opportunity closer to the end of the year when we start talking more specifics and what we have seen, especially what I have seen over the last 30 years. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Haywood. Appreciate that. Mr. Higginbotham.
I had an opportunity the past month to participate in a variety of things that York County has done. One of them was going to a town hall meeting at Grafton High School and spending some time with the students there and answering some questions. And I do have to say the 2 students who ran that town hall did a fantastic job of keeping the meeting going and not having any dead time and taking care of the questions that the students had planned to ask and everything. It was a good time seeing those students in that light. So often you see them, behind a desk and in a chair in a classroom, and they had real questions about and concerns, and just wanted to share some information and get some more information from the school board and the board of supervisors. So I enjoyed that at Grafton. And then on the elementary level, a couple days later, I actually ran the Coventry Cougar 5K with my son, Joel, who's in kindergarten. So we did complete the 5K in less than an hour.
Excellent.
So it was a good time, though. And then we stayed around for some of the community day afterwards. There was a couple bounce houses. I did not go in, but my youngest son did go into the bounce houses. And then the following week, I actually got to go to Grafton Middle School, and I saw the middle school musical. It was a production of Alice in Wonderland Jr., and Renee Baldwin is the drama teacher there, and she did a fantastic job of preparing those kids for that musical. And they performed in the small Kiva, but it didn't feel like a small room. The space that they had, they utilized, and it was just a fantastic performance. And then I also saw the TAB Career Mentor Gallery Walk, and I saw Dr. Shandor was there, and actually met his wife, was one of the mentors there. And we got to see, I think it was over 115 TAB high school students that were working with different mentors from all different, careers and different things. And all of the students were prepared and wanted to share their experiences throughout the year with this mentorship, and it was just fantastic. And then I got to, Diane Pierce, Lindsay Olson, and Ben Lawson are the TAB High School mentor leaders there. So I wanted to give them a shout out for organizing that. And then, as we were talking about earlier, the Star Banquet this past week, where we got to recognize so many fantastic teachers and educators and people in the York County system. It was just a fantastic time and evening with everybody. And I am happy to say that I am running again for in November. I'll be running. I was planning on running before, but it started a little bit early with being appointed to fulfill the term for District 2. And I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to continue to serve York County Schools as the District 2 chair.
Great, thank you, Mr. Higginbotham, appreciate that. So I as well have been doing some visiting over the past month. I did 2 of the town halls, the one with Brett, which he did most of the work there. I just kind of watched it go along, but I did attend the one at Tab High School as well. The Lion King play at Dare Elementary was a wonderful presentation. The kids did a great job there. It was a lot of fun. And I took my wife out. She'd had foot surgery the week before, so she was kind of ready to get out of the house too, so it was good for her to go see too as well. But the Bus Garage Rodeo on Saturday, the 27th of April, we have some talented bus drivers. I mean, we really do have some talented bus drivers, and they look after our kids. They're safe with our kids, but that's always a fun time to go see our bus drivers compete in safe driving around the bus garage there. And then on May the 10th, we had a visit from the Chief of Staff for the state of Virginia, the Secretary of Education, Secretary of Public Safety. They wanted to come down and visit and explore our collaboration that we had that we do so well with our public safety, with our fire department, our sheriff's office. There was a great presentation done by everyone in the school division that was there. Dr. Shandor was there too, of course, and they toured York High School while they were here. So that was great to have them down and visiting from the state. And I noticed when everybody talked about Dr. James, how nice he was when he spoke to everybody. Well, Dr. James told me one time, he said, you got to be nice to everybody because you never know who's going to be your boss one day. And I noticed, Robbie's here on school board, so. And of course, he was a teacher at Tab High School when I went to school there. I don't know if I should say that, because that'll kind of show both our ages, wouldn't it? So, too late now. So anyway, congratulations, Dr. James, with your tenure here at the school division. We really appreciate that. And I would also like to mention that I have already qualified and filed as a candidate for District 4 for re-election. I haven't served a full term yet with the division. I started with a special election and finishing a third year of that special election, so I'd like to, serve a full term. I really enjoy serving the citizens of the county. I enjoy what I do. Try to stay as busy as I can with it because it's just a lot of fun doing it, and I love to make these decisions, and hopefully I'm making the right decisions for my constituents in my division, in my district. But moving on from there, because we have a full agenda, we're going to go into financial matters. So, Dr. George, you have those.
Thank you. And might I add that Mr. Higginbotham and Mr. Richardson, you do a fine job, both of you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the next 6 months of serving.
Thank you.
Okay, I have financial matters this evening. And we'll start out with consideration of approval of claims certified for payment. Significant payments for the month of April include instructional-related expenditures that totaled approximately $95,900 and include payments to Demoulin for band uniforms for York High in the amount of $40,000, Amtech Company for STEM supplies in the amount of $27,990. Diction for translating the program of studies for $15,000. And This is Language for online resources for world languages in the amount of $12,800. Technology-related expenditures total approximately $24,000, and they include payments to CDWG for $11,780, and that is for 30 Chromebooks for the Yorktown Middle Math Department. Virginia Business Systems for $17,277 for division-wide printing. And payments related to construction projects total approximately $91,600, and they include payments to Vertexco for $65,200 for work at Tab Elementary, Hudson and Associates for $26,500 for the A&E work at Coventry Elementary. And then we have payments related to administration, and they total approximately $60,500, and they include payments to the College of William & Mary for $30,240 for graduation ceremonies, and VACOR for $17,995 for March workers' compensation claims. And payments related to operations and maintenance total $38,607 for payments to Dominion Energy for utility costs. And as we move on to consideration of approval of financial reports, significant changes relating to the operating budget. On the revenue side, local revenues are about $181,000 higher in April 2019 than in April 2018, mainly due to increases in contracted bus services, tuition, and athletic fees. State revenues through April 2019 are about $3.4 million higher when compared to April of 2018. This trend will continue throughout the year because of the state funding increases for FY 2019 and the increase in student enrollment. Federal revenue through April 2019 is up by more than $2.3 million from April 2018. This is mainly due to several large payments for federal impact aid. And on the expenditure side, instructional expenditures for April of 2019 are up by more than $3.5 million when compared to April 2018, mainly due to increases in state funding and increases in staffing, teacher salaries, and benefits for FY 2019. Expenditures for administration, operations, and technology are about $1.1 million higher in April 2019 than they were in April 2018. And this is consistent with increases in state funding, salaries, and benefits for all employees for FY 2019. Significant changes relating to the school service budget for revenues and expenditures. Federal revenue through April of 2019 is about $53,000 less than in April 2018, and this is a result of the timing of federal reimbursements for this year. And finally, we have a consideration of approval of Resolution 19-36, a resolution authorizing a specific procurement. We have a resolution requiring the board's approval, authorizing procurements of more than $50,000. There are two items on the resolution for our consideration and approval, and they are food service, POS line machine and 5-year warranty for $72,000, and the GC HVAC replacement and main office reorientation for $651,000 increase. So with that, I move to approve the financial matters as listed.
All right. Ms. Ford?
Yes, the motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve financial matters as listed, and you may cast your vote. All votes have been cast, and the motion passed 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Next, we have the consent calendar. Is there anything that needs to be pulled from consent calendar?
I have nothing.
Okay, I'm going to read briefly. Approval of personnel actions, approval of donations in the amount of $2,806, approval to authorize the division superintendent to execute a 10th annual addendum to the facility operating agreement between the York County Board of York County, Virginia, and the Boys and Girls Clubs of Virginia Peninsula, a Virginia non-stock corporation. Approval of Resolution 19-33 to approve the FY20 property and liability insurance coverage. Resolution 19-34, a resolution authorizing the school board chair, division superintendent, and high school principals to apply for membership with the Virginia High School League for school year 2019-2020. And then approval to authorize the division superintendent to sell surplus equipment at public auction. And then consideration of meal prices for the school year 2018-2020, which we discussed at our work session. Approval of the minutes from the work session of March 11th, 2019, special meeting March 18th, 2019, and a regular meeting March 25th, 2019, and approval to authorize entering into an agreement with the Virginia Retirement System for individual participation in offering long-term care insurance. And then the approval of the adjustment to the approved 2019-2020 calendar. And is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as listed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, Ms. Ford?
Yes, a motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Higginbotham to approve the consent calendar as listed. You may cast your vote. The motion is passed 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Next, we have consideration of Resolution 19-32, amending the fiscal year 2020 school board approved operating budget. Dr. Shandor, I ask you to share comments.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to ask Mr. Bowen. He's going to share a few brief comments.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor, Mr. Richardson, members of the board, and Dr. Shandor. I know I speak for the entire finance department when I say we're pleased that this process is coming to a close.
I know.
If you recall, when we adopted the school board-based budget on March 25th, it was based on the governor's proposed budget. In the state's final budget, YCSD lost revenue about $360,500. And so we have to adjust our expenditures accordingly. Those expenditures have been outlined in the attachment to the resolution, and I'll briefly just review those real quick. That the first item has no effect on the dollars. It was just a programmatic change. We had initially proposed adding 10 additional teacher positions. We're now proposing only 9 teacher positions and shifting one of those positions to a psychologist position. It was after the budget that we had additional conversations, and we really felt like that there was a need to add a psychologist position since we hadn't done one and added one in many, many years. Also, one of the governor's initiatives included funding for additional school counselors. However, in the final state budget, the governor's proposed budget included 4 counselor positions, but in the final state budget, funding was only included for 2. So we're eliminating 2 school counselor positions at a savings of $130,000. New Horizons Regional Education Center. We participate there for special education, career and technical, and the governor's school. Their initial budget forecast came for York County's participation to increase by $460,000. However, in their final budget, it was reduced by $100,000. So we're eliminating $100,000 from that obligation. Also, when I was working on the budget, when you go to balance a $145 million budget, sometimes you don't always budget to the penny, but also anticipating that there could be some changes between the governor's budget and the final state budget, I did have a reserve set aside. That reserve was $125,000, so I'm using that reserve of $125,000 to balance our shortfall of the $360,000. And since the board's approval, we've had additional retirements and resignations, and so we'll have additional savings through attrition, and we conservatively estimate that savings will be $50,500. We also had one item on the a new initiative for the operating budget, and this was for a data dashboard. It was $40,000, and we were going to purchase this from a vendor, and it was going to give us the ability, or provide us with the ability to tie in several of our systems and the data from those systems that tracked student grades, attendance, discipline, and it allows you to drill down to the student level and see if there's a problem. If a student is struggling with grades, then you can look at discipline, you can look at attendance, and it kind of gives you an idea of what may be happening, but it gives you that information in real time. you can drill down on a daily basis, and it's updated daily. Well, we invited our IT department to look at this with us, and they've actually created the system in-house, and it's been customized and continues to be customized based on the needs of staff. So we're recommending that we eliminate that $40,000 line item and instead add a position, a programmer analyst position, for an additional $45,000 that will be able to complete the work that the IT department has started with that data dashboard. And then this position will also provide the critical training that's needed for our administrators and instructional staff. And that cost of the position comes at $85,000. So the net change of all of our expenditures is $360,500, which equals the loss of revenue. And that's our update for the budget this evening. Be happy to entertain any questions you might have.
Any questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Bowen, appreciate that. So, since there were no questions, is there a motion and a second to approve the Resolution 19-32, amending the fiscal year 2020 school board approved operating budget?
Move approval.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
Yes, a motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Dr. George to approve Resolution 1932. You may cast your vote. Dr. George? And the motion passed 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. And next is our Resolution 19-35, requesting the County Board of Supervisors to approve the transfer of $965,300 from the Revenue Stabilization Fund to the School Division's Capital Projects Fund. Dr. Shandor?
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to ask Mr. Bowen just to summarize quickly what he presented at the work session for you.
So staff is recommending the approval of this resolution, and the purpose for this resolution is to help the school division begin work on A&E work on approved capital projects. And all those, there's an attachment of the projects that we have tonight. All those items that we're recommending we use revenue stabilization for are highlighted in blue. And again, all those are on the current approved CIP plan, except the last one, which is a comprehensive facilities study. That's something new that we've added. It's not on the CIP, but it's something that, since we've approved it, we've been in discussions with the county, and they certainly support our decision and wanting to move forward with that. It's roughly about $1 million what we're asking for the transfer from revenue stabilization funds to our capital projects fund. Because it involves revenue stabilization funds, we have an agreement with the county that requires both boards to approve. So once our board approves this, it will go to the county, and they hope to take up the item at their next business meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bowen. And if there's no questions, is there a motion to approve Resolution 19-35?
Move motion to approve.
Second.
Yes, a motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Higginbotham to approve Resolution 1935. You may cast your vote. And the resolution did pass 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. So next is consideration of approval of Resolution 19-37 to continue the salaries of members of the county school board. And Dr. Shandor, would you share comments?
I don't have any particular comments, really. I don't have any for this particular item.
There's no request to raise our salaries or anything like that, just to continue our salaries.
That's
So-
correct. There's no change.
Just
No
a
proposed
continuation,
change.
which we do continually, so.
It's
is
the
there-
same, and it's the same as the counterparts of the board.
It's the same as the Board of
Supervisors,
Supervisors,
so it's
correct, correct. And is there a
I move
motion and a second?
approval.
Okay.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
Yes, a motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Dr. George to approve Resolution 1937. You may cast your votes. The motion did pass 4-0. Thank you.
Okay, next we have a motion to authorize the purchase of the York County DARE program supplies at a total cost of the division not to exceed $4,000, and if the cost exceeds $4,000, the DARE program will reimburse the school division any amount above $4,000. So I believe that's something we've done, y'all have done every year in the past as well. It's
Correct.
part of our program of studies that they teach in the classroom. So is there a motion and a second?
I so move.
Second.
Ms. Ford?
Yes, the motion was made by Mr. Higginbotham and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the purchase of the DARE supplies, and you may cast your vote. The motion did pass 4-0. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have consideration of a motion to approve the FY20 health and dental insurance rates. Dr. Shandor, I'll let you share comments.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Carroll, who has some information to share this evening.
All right, thank you, Dr. Shandor. Chairman Richardson, members of the board, before you, you have the approval for the FY20 health and dental rates. And I'm pleased to say that we are proposing no changes this year. We do have some differences that typically this time of year I bring you plan changes and rate recommendations. You'll remember that we've entered a joint purchasing agreement with the county, and we went to a calendar year. So tonight I only bring you rates for the fiscal year FY20, and early in the fall we'll bring you any recommendations on plan changes. But due to the forecast by the study consultants USI and the RFP estimates from Cigna, they both forecast that we'll have lower costs for the health and dental, or health and pharmacy. So we are recommending zero change to the rates. And then with dental, not that there should be a savings cost, but a neutral cost. So that, so our recommendation is to make no rate changes.
And will we have to, I guess, approve that, the rate changes?
Well, we're approving the motion.
Yes, it's an action item.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve
I move motion to approve.
the FY20 health and dental insurance rates?
Second.
Yes, the motion was made by Dr. George and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve the FY20 health and dental rates. You may cast your votes. And the motion did pass 4-0.
Thank you. I just wasn't sure there wasn't any change, so.
Right.
I just wanted to make sure
But we
there.
need to approve the rates. yes.
Okay, so next we have a consideration of motion to approve the FY20 pay plan. So Dr. Shandor.
Thank you. Again, Dr. Carroll is here. He's going to share some information and adjustments to the pay plan.
Right, so buckle in, this might be a long one. First of all, we've got for licensed, we're recommending, as Mr. Bowen has said in the past during the budget process, that we're looking at a 1.8% market adjustment for teachers, plus one step, which is an average of 1.5% for those eligible employees on the teacher salary scale. Where we see the biggest change is in the non-licensed and administrators pay scale. We've made numerous changes there. We've consolidated all the scales except for the bus drivers and the bus driver assistants into a revised collection of grades and steps. Now, this is where it's going to get a little complicated, and I ask for all the employees that hear this, that we will be putting out some communications tomorrow and an informational memo on Tuesday to further explain, because we will not be giving an annual step to the non-licensed staff. We are going to be converting them onto these new scales. But with that, during that conversion, we'll be guaranteeing at least a 1.75% raise for every non-licensed staff member, and the average raise will be 4.1% for that group. The new scales raise the minimum salaries on those scales 14% and raises the maximums on those scales 25%. This puts us in a much more competitive market position, and it allows for those employees of ours that are above, what are currently above step 11, to have, to get rid of those plateaus that we've had in the pay scale for so many years, and now they'll be able to have an increase in pay every year that we give a step or a market adjustment. You'll remember last year that we adjusted the bus driver and bus driver assistant scales. They also will not be receiving a step, but will be getting a 3% market adjustment across the board. Typically, in this presentation, I walk through every change in the pay plan, but they're so numerous, I'm just going to highlight here. I've placed them into different buckets as opposed to going page by page. So please stop and ask questions along the way, but I'm going to try to highlight this. So the first bucket is position regrades or compensation changes. And on the first item, you see that teacher salary scale market adjustment of 1.8%. The next two, you see a position regrade for all of the associate directors and the public relations and communications officer who is seen as a member of that group. The next 7 items there are all regrades. Some of them have title changes. A lot of these are in the IT department. Then on page 12, you'll see the chief officers getting their 3.2% increase, which is equal to the teacher raise, and that is customary. On page 12, I don't have it listed in the board brief, but there are 2 notes, and one of them is just talking about the things that we changed. Alphabetizing the table, eliminating what was known as the S and H curves, adding page numbers for easy reference, consolidating those pay scales for school psychologists, health service paraprofessionals, and instructional educators all onto the new scales. And in note 2, we talk about the process for the conversion. That number 1, we would add 1.75% to every employee on the non-licensed scale first, then place them on the next highest rate above that 1.75% adjustment on the FY20 scale. And in cases of regrades and promotions, we'll move them to the new grade first and then do steps 1 and 2. I'm sure that's very clear. After the chief officer notation in the board brief, you'll see two items on pages 51 and 52 that address the bus driver market adjustment of 3%. And on page 56, you'll remember that last year we moved the custodians who help out in the summer to their hourly rate. It used to be a flat fee that was a lower rate, and we're doing the same for custodians this year. The next bucket is new positions. These are some part-time things, some interns. This year, finance has an intern at $11 an hour, and we're going to try to get, since we have custodians and we have transportation people helping out in the summer, with all the construction projects we have, we're looking for maybe other employees that have 10-month employees that would like to work as maintenance helpers, and we've set a rate of $14. We have 3 additional supplements: STEM Club, Paraeducator Critical Response, and Speech Language Pathology Certificate of Clinical Competence. The next bucket is an additional, either additional or a clarification of days. And you see we added days for the reading, math coach, and lead counselor. And in the previous plan, the CTE, it said 3 or 5, but it didn't delineate that was a difference based on level, middle, and high. We also had 2 positions that were approved last year but hadn't been added to the plan. That was the math and reading coach. We have 2 FTE conversions. That's converting the recruitment and retention specialist and converting that person or that position to the associate director of human resources. So that's subsidizing that change. And also converting the coordinator of non-licensed professional development to the coordinator of professional development and academic services. The next item is just implications of the non-licensed conversion implications that deal with the health services paraprofessional that we have at Waller Mill, the paraeducators on tier 1 and 2 and placing them on a scale, and the school psychologist. The next 4 are from the informational technology department that's undergoing a reorganization, some title changes. Then there are some additional title changes through position review that do not involve any additional compensation. And the one on page 40 talks about the coordinator of career and technical education becoming now the coordinator of career development. That is reflective of what's going on with the strategic plan. And then as I reach the last page here, I won't go into any details, but there's some are just grammar and date-sensitive changes, deletions from the plan, and deleted titles that we no longer use. Before I end, I would like to publicly thank Tara Fowler, who's our compensation specialist, who went through innumerable iterations of the non-licensed scales and helped us find something that worked very well. And with that said, I recommend, or staff recommends, that you approve the motion.
Thank you, Dr. Carroll.
Okay, if there's no questions, is there a motion and a second to approve the FY20 pay plan as presented?
I move approval.
Second.
And if I may say a special thanks, this has been a long time coming.
Yes, it is.
Awful long time coming.
And a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you. We're happy to do it.
Motion is made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mr. Hickenbotham to approve the FY20 pay plan. You may cast your vote. Dr. George? And the vote did pass 4-0. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ford. Next, we're going to move into policy discussion for the discussion of the rescission of final exam exemption. Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. I'm going to ask Dr. Guy, Chief Academic Officer, if she'll come forward and share some comments with the board.
Thank you, Dr. Shandor. Good evening, Chairman Richardson, members of the board. In the spring of 2016, division staff convened a committee to develop a plan to mitigate the impact of weather-related impact on the administration of semester exams. In addition to setting expectations for exam review and parameters for the cancellation of exams, the committee raised questions regarding overall exam practices. In the spring of 2018, division staff collected stakeholder input through surveys administered to teachers, students, and parents, and principals engaged in consensus-building activities regarding future exam practices. This past November, a committee of teachers, principals, and division staff reviewed input from stakeholders and conducted a decision analysis to make recommendations regarding semester exam administration. The committee's purpose was to determine the best way to assess student learning over time while considering criteria such as minimizing lost instructional time, maximizing opportunities to gather data, minimizing the impact on grades and graduation rates, and alignment with college and/or post-secondary exam practices. Through this process, the committee recommended to the superintendent that quarterly assessments weighted at 10% of the marking period grade replace semester and final exams beginning in the 2019-2020 school year. With the adoption of the committee's recommendation, this file referencing final exam exemptions is no longer applicable, and we're recommending the rescission of policy file IUW. Are there any questions? And this will come back to the board next month for second reading and approval.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you, Ms. Guy. Dr. Guy.
Thank you.
So next, we have a first reading for quadrennial review of Section F Facilities Development, the York County School Division Policy Manual. Dr. Shandor.
Yeah, no, Dr. James, there's no changes in this, correct? Yes, no
changes?
changes since the last
Okay.
time. Yep.
Great. So now we're going to move on to our second reading, which is an action item of the quadrennial review of Section E, Support Services for York County School Division Policy Manual. Are there any changes?
There were no changes in this section as well.
Okay, and that's
I
something,
move approval. I think we've seen this a couple of
we have seen this a
months,
couple,
so I move
yes.
approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, Ms. Ford?
Yes, the motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mr. Hickenbotham to approve Section E policy. You may cast your votes. The motion did pass 4-0. Thank you.
And we had a pretty heavy agenda tonight. We've moved through pretty good. So I'm going to move on to the report of the superintendent. So Dr. Shandor.
Thank you, Mr. Richardson. So just a couple things to share this evening. The Star Employee Recognition Banquet, which was attended by all the school board members and a number of our executive staff, honoring and recognizing those who received special awards in 2019, as well as many retirees in our 25-year staff members. So wonderful event. It was I want to share some of the names from that evening who won the special awards. Laura Shasky, Tab Middle School teacher, 2019 Superintendent's Award winner. Amy Holschneider, York High School teacher, 2019 Spirit of Ed winner. Linda Johnson, Grafton Bethel Elementary Para-Educator of the Year. Pauline Wright, Tab Elementary School Custodian Support Staff Member of the Year. Stacy Herrick, Seaford Elementary Elementary Teacher of the Year. And Amanda Poe, Grafton Middle Foreign Language Teacher, Middle School Teacher of the Year, and the YCSD Division Teacher of the Year. Kara Townsend, Bruton High School Teacher of the Year. We also, as I said earlier, recognize team members who celebrated 25 consecutive years of service. It was a wonderful evening for everyone, and I think one of my favorite parts of that evening is always the student performances. We had an amazing guitar player, an amazing violinist, the young lady that sang the national anthem, and the two ladies that closed the evening.
Amazing.
Not a dry eye in the house, especially Dr. Guy. Another event that I attended, that Mr. Richardson and I attended, was the signing day ceremony, where students who participated in the Good Life Solution program at New Horizons announced a business that they've chosen for their employment immediately after graduation. As mentioned earlier by Mr. Richardson, we had the Secretary of Public Safety and the Secretary of Education. They visited York High School with a number of staff members. I want to commend Dr. James, Greg Dolak, Angie Siders, a number of our other staff members who, Dr. Butler, who was here a little earlier this evening, all the work that they did to coordinate that event. We had a number of folks present, and we're super proud of that work, and I appreciate Dr. Shannon Butler, who offered up her school to share all the good work that we do with our fire and life safety and the sheriff's office. Closing, I want to encourage our students and parents to remain steadfast and finish the year strong. As we said earlier, only 17 days to go as of tomorrow. This concludes the superintendent's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Shandor. So that concludes everything for this evening. So this meeting is now adjourned. Our next work session will be Monday, June 3rd at 6 p.m. So we'll see everybody then. Thank you.